All right, so Carie Davis, the Global Innovation Director at Coca-Cola. You've done a lot of big things in your lifetime here, some interesting things, working on a number of sustainability issues at Coca-Cola. Is that right? You're a Georgia Tech alum.
Yeah, Georgia Tech.
Got a BS in Industrial Design. Wow. 2008, your team won the Singapore's Red Dot Award for your recycling bin that helped reinforce the commitment to sustainable development. You like the research we do?
I'm interested in, where are you getting all
what
this?
Else,
I didn't give you a bio.
Well, on the MySpace account that you had.
Dang it.
No, you worked in a number of innovative initiatives. Implemented the Design Centers of Excellence, hiring and training 200 plus associates in design management. And now you're working with entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, universities to develop collective intelligence, manage external innovation networks and partnerships, and develop innovation capability through the creation of competencies, methods, tools, and training. Wow.
Wow, yeah. Actually, so update.
What's that mean?
Update.
Update. All right.
So actually, I'll just give you a little bit of a background on what our team does.
Yeah, that'd be exactly my first question.
Make more sense. Yeah. So I'm part of an innovation team at Coke. There are quite a few innovation teams at Coke. But about a year and a half ago, we were created to do basically business model innovation. So how do we keep Coca-Cola growing? Innovation is critical to that, of course. But how do we monetize our assets in new ways? I think anybody who is in a corporation here, is probably very familiar with that. I think everyone I talk to lately is trying to figure that out. How do you do that? So we still have, our core business, innovation against the core is firing away, but we've got to create a new structure basically to grow into new spaces. So our team was created to figure that out, and we started out basically. There's three of us, so we were doing, building the new structure for that. Basically, we figured out we've got to create teams based in our business units because that's really where ideas come from. They have to be 100% dedicated to creating new business models that have nothing to do with our core. Because if you give them any opportunity to get pulled back into the core, they will. That's just the gravity of it, right? That's basically what we've been setting up over the last year. About the end of last year, though, we actually reporting to the chief technical officer. He said, I don't think you should underestimate this idea of culture, the culture of innovation, and the things that you're learning about how these accelerators need to work, using lean methodologies and that kind of thing. How could we actually bring that into everybody, at Coke? I mean, maybe it's not everybody, or I don't know who it is, but let's maybe put some thought and energy into that. So that's basically what I've been working on probably since about the end of last year. So even that, the bio that you just read, I updated it last night, Scott. I don't know why you didn't get that.
Well, we researched you yesterday, so appreciate you sending me a copy of that.
Sorry, I didn't know. So that's what we've been doing.
Less about hardware and more about software, I would say. Like, right, your culture. You said the word culture, right?
Mm-hmm. I did, and so if you Google that, your computer will laugh at you. Yeah. Culture change. Wow, that's hilarious.
That's a paradigm shift. That's funny. So, for a large corporation, hierarchical, how do you allow this more networked approach, this more nimble, agile approach? You mentioned some things some of the people in the audience might know, but others might not. Lean startup methodology. I know you guys are implementing a startup weekend, and these are programmatic approaches that are popular in the startup community, right? The entrepreneurial community.
Yep.
What do you mean by that, lean startup, and what do you mean by the startup weekend? What's this going to go? How's it going to play out in a large corporation?
Right. So I guess when I tried to think about what would we do to actually try to impact culture, it really did start out, well, if I was going to do this as a startup or use lean methods, I would just try something, right? So that's the first thing we did, and I started to look into ways that you could build your skills in being a startup or being an entrepreneur. And Startup Weekend is something that continued to come up as that's what they're all about. First of all, it's how do you create the conditions for people to meet and interact in a different way, as well as learning those lean methodologies. So prototyping, minimum viable product, not over planning. I mean, that's just what, at a corporation, that's what you do. You get your objective, you make a bunch of plans, you ask for a lot of money and resources to deliver against that, and you're expected to go away and then come back and deliver. So working in a new way, I had to figure out a way to actually introduce those to some people and find who are those people who are actually interested in doing that anyway. So having a startup weekend, which I don't know if everybody's familiar with Startup Weekend, but it's a nonprofit organization that basically anyone's welcome to attend. They have one in Atlanta about a month ago.
Just had a great one. Had about 2 a year, I think.
Yeah, they have a couple a year here, but they're all over the world in at least 107 countries. It's run by volunteers, but it's really just meant to build entrepreneurs, inspire people to become entrepreneurs, and over the course of the weekend, you can form a team and launch a startup. So we're doing one inside at Coca-Cola. So it's kind of it's actually, there are a lot of people that are very excited about it. There are also a lot of people who are very confused by it. But so far, it's been pretty positive.
People are going to pitch ideas?
People are going to, they're going to come. They're going to pitch ideas. And you guys are not doing it on the weekend.
You're doing it during the week,
We're not doing it on the weekend.
Inside the corporate world of Monday through Friday.
We are. We're doing it on Wednesday through Friday. So that's the first question. It didn't have the same ring.
Startup Week.
I'm still calling it Startup Weekend at Coca-Cola, but that's another thing. And I'm trying to be weird about it on purpose. We're using weird tools like Eventbrite. Oh, that's so weird to use inside. I'm really disrupting finance. They're really mad at me for making people pay using it outside, even though it all comes back to us. It's very, it's disruptive. Little things you would think, but I think that's part of my role and our team's role to try things differently. We're not doing anything that's destructive, but we are sort of making people think differently about, people suggest, well, why don't you make it go through our corporate training? And it's just kind of I don't even know who to call for some of those things. I could just quickly put it online. And so we're trying some things. I think eventually we'll fold it in, but
right. So you're kind of working on kind of a connected, almost an adjacency, right? An adjacency strategy where instead of, I always relate it to when we built the Olympic Stadium here, what is now Turner Field. You had Fulton County Municipal that was built already there. It's not like they destroyed the stadium to build the new stadium. They built a stadium next to it, right? So connected adjacency.
Yeah.
And so you're using this quick, agile, let's build a sandbox next to the big Coca-Cola and bring in some new ideas, bring in some folks that are used to using methodologies and letting them interact with people inside the company. To let those who probably already, some of them who are aware and wanted an opportunity can actually come and play in that sandbox.
Yep. And that's what I found. So it has been a lot of sort of grassroots trying to recruit people who are already in this space. Another thing that we're doing I wanted to mention was it's called KO Work. So I've called it KO Work. We're actually creating co-working at Coca-Cola. So we've built out our entire floor to look like a co-working environment. It's all I'm actually trying to make sure that we don't call it co-working space. It's co-working. It's a community-driven. People come. There's actually going to be programming. If anybody has ideas or wants to come and speak in our space, please come my way. But that's where people are starting to catch on. I see that I could come there. I could rent a desk for a day, a week, and just kind of change my perspective and meet different people. And we were just on the phone actually with looking for a co-working platform, how to run a co-working space to get people to sign up. They actually said it's a benefit really for people who work at Coke, and I think you should talk about it like that. It's really something that gives people a different opportunity, a different way to work and engage with their coworkers. It's breaking down silos, and it's just something for them it's a place for them to learn as well.
And so, what would you? Well, two things. One, are you on Twitter?
I am.
So what's your Twitter handle?
Carie Davis 2.
2. You're the sequel. I love it. You're the sequel. That's great.
I need to change that. But that's it for today.
All right. So, what's your succinct definition of the future of work?
I think it would be fluidity. So I had a little time to think about it, but I think it's all about people having the ability to move in and out of different roles, and even at Coke, I think there's a lot of how we engage with the startup community and how they engage with us. There's sort of a merging of those two, and that's something I'm also really interested in trying to figure out. There's a lot that we can all learn from each other, and it's all symbiotic. So trying to sort that out.
Fluidity. Fluid symbiosis.
Yeah, that's
I'm just going to say something. That sounds horrible. So, great, Carie Davis. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hot seat.